order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Ocha?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Here.
We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Is there any changes or additions? No? I need a motion on the agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion, we approve the agenda. Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Ocha?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of September 4th, 2018. Is there any questions on that? If not, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 4th, 2018.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Ocha?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
We'll move on to the manifest. Scott, you have any questions?
I
on
just
that?
have one thing. On page 1 of 9, in the mayor council elections, we have Jim Ball for lawn care, 3 of them, on 114 Central, 228 Iron, and 118 14th. He's got 2 hours, or 3 hours, 2 hours, $200 to cut a grass, $185 to cut grass, and $125, and it looks like for an hour.
I'd have to look at, see what the details is on this breakdown.
Well, I went by these houses, and that's crazy. That is just plain out crazy, that it's $200 to cut this grass. And I got a question on that. Why are we having somebody come and cut this grass? These are foreclosed homes that we're taking care of, I'm assuming? 'Cause I see the letters in the windows of these houses, and I'm thinking that it's foreclosed, but why is the city paying for that?
Because they aren't. And then we put them on their taxes.
We put on taxes.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We get
well,
reimbursed for these.
If we have,
And part of the reason why it takes longer is because by the time we cut this grass, I mean, you have clumps all over the place, so we tell them to pick up all the clumps. So it's not just cutting it, I mean, they're picking everything up.
they're cleaning it up. I
Yeah,
understand
cleaning it
that,
up.
but it
Okay.
should not take $200 worth for 1 yard, 180. Why can't we have some of our summer help do this for $12 an hour instead of $200 an hour?
Well, mainly because our insurance company said that the liability of us going on someone else's property, if something happened, then they would come after our insurance company. Even though they're not following our rules, we still have a liability with our employee. Now, if we hire somebody, then it's their insurance that deals with the issue. I mean, we had an issue where somebody's prized little pine tree got cut down, and they really came after us. You know, so we need to, our insurance company did not want.
So do we
our
know that he
employees-
has insurance for this?
Yes, he has to-
Has
he
he
has to
proven it
provide
that he
proof of
has insurance for this? Okay.
Trish, you get that when anybody, yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, they have to, in order to work for us, they have to provide proof of insurance.
Okay.
And that makes it expensive too. You can't just get someone on the side.
Well, how much was Milbreath charging her, the greenhouse?
We've had Milbreath and Beck, I think.
Yeah, they're the same. I mean, it's pretty, we've had this conversation over the years of how expensive it is or what it looks like, but, you know, their billing rates are there. We ask them to make sure that it's clean, you know, so there's extra
Yeah.
time. I mean, if these people don't like the cost for this, then cut it yourself. You know, don't make us go all the way through giving you the notice, the 7 days, and then we have to go over there and cut it. And then we have to apply the 15% administration charge along with that. Plus, if you become a second and third time, we'll give a ticket.
Okay.
Because we do not want to be lawn service.
Yeah.
So,
All right, that's all I have.
Brett?
I have nothing.
Lee?
On the same item there, aren't we supposed to be rotating on that, Ray, or is it just his?
that is the
his turn?
understanding?
Yeah,
That we would
okay.
rotate?
I have nothing else.
I got nothing.
I have one on 6 of 9, under electric utility. It's halfway down, 12-200 ALBK. What is that?
A 200 amp insulating
Is that a transformer?
transformer, yeah, that's
Okay.
a CV transformer.
Okay. I was just wondering what that was for that price. That's the only question I had. If there, Jeremy, you didn't have nothing, right? If there's no other questions, can I have a motion on the manifest?
I'll make a motion, we approve the manifest number 2018-18 in the amount of $413,935.32.
Support.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Anyone wishing to address the council on any agenda item can do so now at the podium. State your name and your address for the record. Don't have anybody, we'll move on to public hearing. None. Appointments, none. We'll move on to number 7, approval, special events, Leif Erikson Fall Festival. Mr. Anderson.
This is a special event, again, for Leif Erikson. Do this every year, using the public property and right-of-ways. It's our policy to have council approve that use. And again, this is something that, we've done for decades now with Leif Erikson. To show you in the report, the schedule, which on Friday is the art show at the museum. On Saturday, we have the festival around town, and then Sunday is there's a few things. There's the Leaf Run and breakfast. Trish, I didn't check on the schedule. Usually there's something else on Friday night, like the dinner.
They used to have the dinner, that
They
was
used to have the
Sunday
dinner.
night. No, Saturday night, that would be Saturday.
Was that Saturday night or Friday night?
There's
Oh, yeah,
one-
the Viking Feast. That's Saturday night. Okay, so
I think they used to do it on Friday night.
they used to do, okay. So there's a request for, of course, this, they're going to be putting up signs around in the boulevards. And also, the museum has a number of signs that they want to put out. So we're just asking you to approve the application and sign permit.
I think it's a great thing. It brings people into our community. I have to say that, I think Barb did a nice job giving us the details, showing us a map of everything going on. And, just want to thank everybody. I know it takes, probably a year after you get done planning this to plan it again, and I just think it's a great thing for Norway, and thank everybody who works on this.
I have to agree with you, Candy. Anytime we can bring people into town, it's good. It just, in this situation, the weather can make or break them. Hopefully, the weather will be good.
They still come with the weather bad. This brings in a lot of people. This is a
Yeah.
very good
Oh,
thing for
yeah.
our community. Very good thing for our community.
A lot of work goes into it.
Do I have a motion on the special event Leif Erikson Fall Festival?
Make a motion that the application and sign bit permit be approved for Leif Erikson 2018.
Support.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
We're going to move on to Resolution 2018-17, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you. We pleased to have Chad Kay from the community. He's coming to request from the council approval for, or at least a resolution of support that goes to the Michigan Liquor Control and LARA, which is the licensing agency at the Michigan, for a distillery. Mr. Kay, would you like to come up and, yep.
So, thank you everybody for your time today. My intent, if you all had the handouts, my intent is open distillery in the form of use option. With that, I am at the stage of the process where I have to go through the local government here now today to ask for your approval to see if there's anybody who has any concerns And with that is a signature on the paperwork that will proceed and will push forward going through at the state level. Keep in mind that I still am working on federal approval, side by side with the state approval, but for local government, this is where I'm at right now. So at this time, if you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask me pertaining to the facility, I'd like to leave that open and you guys to address me at this time.
Eventually, you're gonna have food too?
Yes, yes. It'll be small menu items, it's part of the control for distilleries. What you have to do is you have to provide food, and you can't just sell your own product at that establishment. That's what allows you to actually go through without obtaining a Class C liquor license at that. So that's how I can actually sell my product.
Okay.
So it's not just somebody coming down there and drinking, you have to provide something as far as content. You have to have food to coincide with it.
And any other liquor, or are you just gonna sell what you're making?
It is only for what I'm making, like I said, if I actually sold anything else, it would have to be under a Class C liquor license. But I can white label and have somebody fly under what I consider as my flag. So if they actually worked with me and I could actually sell a product with the Northwind stamp on it. So for example, if someone came to me and said, hey, I want to sell wine, but you can put your label on it, I can actually go through that proceeding and actually get wine distribution license too. So.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, any time we can get any kind of business on Main Street, let's face it, Norway Main Street has been hurting for a long time, and now this is the third business within the last basically 6 months. And I'm glad to see the Moose Lodge being taken care of. I'm all for this.
I have to agree with Lee. I think it's, it's just nice to get a business in town. It sounds like you're gonna have a nice business there. It'd be nice to see the moose being used for something, so good luck to you.
Thank you.
I'm for it.
One thing I'd like to mention is thank you for investing in the community. I mean, you have already, so thank you, family, because this is a big step, and so for community, you mentioned, Lee, third business, we have a couple others that have just opened up, the coffee shop, and we've got another one down here that's going to be open at some point. The people come out and support your local business. I mean, we've got the Loyal to Local campaign going on that's across the county, but it's even more micro here, and people aren't going to invest if we don't come out and support them. So it's just exciting to have you stepping out and doing that. And it's a big risk, so it's,
Absolutely.
yeah. So whatever we can do to support you, that's important.
Can I ask why you chose Norway? Is it because of the wonderful town?
Well, yes, number one. First and foremost, right? But in reality, a lot of it was claim to fame on, and Ray and I had a conversation on this about water quality. That was a big one. I'd like to think that that's a big step in the right direction if you're gonna make a product from it, so that was big. The other thing too is just building up the community. Literally just, let's face facts, it's walking half away, so that's perfect too, but it builds up the community, and where I'm at is, there's only one distillery that distributes something you can drink in Upper Michigan, and they're only open part-time. This would be the first full-time venture, so to actually put that stamp on it also, I see that actually bring a lot of attraction in. So if I were to put this in Iron Mountain or Kingsford, I think it would get maybe a little paved over with some of the other things that are going on there, where Norway this really stands out loud and proud. So I like to think of it as not only supporting beauty, but also a great marketing aspect of it too. Stand out very, very well.
We appreciate the shout out on the water quality.
Yeah.
We have won awards through AWWA. When we put the effort in to put our samples in, it comes back. We get awards, for quality. So.
And it'll get more attention this way too.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Any idea how long it takes the state after tonight and everything goes through?
So that's the game that I'm playing right now. As I stated earlier, one of the problems that I'm running into is they tell you right up front, it could take 3 months or 6 months in an approval process. Right now, I'm at the 2-month mark. So after this gets submitted, I could be another month into the state, or I could go longevity and be another 4. So, and then the other problem that I have is the federal could come through tomorrow, but the state could still go up for another 4 months. So I'm playing that, you know, I gotta play the game that everybody else plays. It's a roll of the dice. You gotta get everything in there as fast as you possibly can, do it with the right amount of information so they don't have to do any corrections and put you at the bottom of the pile, and hope it goes through fast.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion on Resolution 2018-17?
I'll make a motion, Resolution 2018-17 be approved.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
And thank you again for picking our community to do this. We'll move on to approval stormwater assessment management water grant disbursement number 8.
Okay, this is our standard documents for the SOP grant program, the asset management, wastewater asset management. Again, it's a 90% grant, and the total in this disbursement is $43,703.53. So we need to have your approval, and then we'll send it into the state for reimbursement.
Do I have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion, SAW grant distribution number 7 be approved for $43,703.53.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Anyone wishing to address the council on any item may do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Anybody? We'll move on to council comments. Jeremy? Lee?
Again, just thank you, Mr. K. That's all I have.
Brett?
I have nothing.
Scott?
I have nothing.
I have a few comments. Last week, I got the opportunity to go down and be a part of a conference, the annual fall conference for the MMEA. It was a wonderful conference. If you guys ever get the chance, really, go. This was really enlightening. A lot of good, I learned a lot of good things down there, even though I didn't get to stay for all of it because I got sick. But also at that conference, which I missed, Mr. Anderson got voted in as the president of the MMEA. So I would like to congratulate him on that. That's a great, that's really a great honor, especially somebody from the UP. It was a great honor that the MMEA came to the UP for a fall conference, because as everybody knows, most of the time, if we want to go to any of these conferences, we end up going downstate for them. So the conferences here, that was great. Mr. Anderson, a UP boy, is now the president of the MMEA. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Grant?
No, thank you.
Mr. Anderson?
I just got a couple things, and thank you for that shout out. I appreciate it. MMEA is the Michigan Municipal Electric Association. It's our state lobby organization for the public utility, public electric utility, and it's just it's the organization that we support when we go to Washington D.C. If you get a chance, like Candy said, if you get a chance to go, by all means go. It's a good experience. As far as a couple other items, I want to remind everybody that we got a couple of agenda items next week, or not next week, 2 weeks at the October 1st meeting. The first is we're going to have a special meeting starting at 6:30 with the Norway Township and the Planning Commission. I'm also inviting the DDA and some of our other groups. but it's to talk about the MEDC's Rural Redevelopment Ready Community Program. I think it's important to get everybody on the same page, and it is, I think it's a good planning effort. One of the first things that I'm going to recommend that we start with is public participation, a public participation plan, and I think that's something that's needed. Try and encourage more voices. It's the council, it's a hard time for the council to sit up here and make decisions. They're going to make decisions, but if they don't get the feedback, especially in group settings, I think those are so valuable. We don't mind the dissension as long as it's civil, but dissension is not bad, and if we could get that participation, we'll be better for it as a community. So there's a number of plans that we have to follow through on. Another one is a capital improvements plan, which that really follows a budget, so it's not that extensive, but we're going to have to go through and update the master plan. Our master plan is actually not in that bad a shape, but it just needs to be modified slightly so that it's more user-friendly, and that's where the public participation will also help. Is how to get it out there so people can actually will want to read it and then be able to use it. So that's happening at 6:30 in 2 weeks, and then we have a public hearing that's scheduled on October 1st, and we're going to be talking about traffic flow up at the school, or up on especially 4th Avenue by the school. So I think that's important. So come and voice your opinion at the public hearing. That's all I have.
Tricia or Mary?
The only thing I was going to say, Scott's going to be wrapping up the audit this week. I don't know if anyone's had the chance to stop in and talk to him. He welcomes, all of you to stop in and visit. I think you've been in.
I was in too.
Okay. He thought he'd probably be wrapping up probably by Wednesday. So if you've got time, you want to stop in and see him before he wraps everything up and he's done.
We did have a question in the executive memo about, we have, it's not as critical now because, as the letter stated in the executive memo, that they got to the end of the line on the grant monies for a police car. It's all in the same
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
equipment pot, but it's a competitive round, and so they got to the end and they said we ran out. So I believe, we're going to double check on this, but I believe our application is going to stay in the queue. So hopefully, it's first come, first serve on that, and maybe, we'll be at the top of the list. We were going to put in for the backhoe. This could have ramifications on that because they only award $50,000 total to a community over in one fiscal year. The police car is at $22,000. So that would leave us with about $28,000 for the backhoe instead of $50,000. So we're going to have to make some decisions there. We may want to just get the application in anyway, because if it happens the same way next year, we may be at the end of the queue on the backhoe anyway. So, but we'll have to have a conversation about it. But the question came up about bidding out the audit, because the last 2 times we extended his contract, and it was mainly because we needed to have, RD wants to have 2-year commitment with the auditor when we get this grant. Mm-hmm. So that was a question, is to bid it out or to consider it constituent? It does give us more time.
Our fear was that they were going to call and say, okay, you got the green light, but then we don't have the 2-year, engagement letter for an audit.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can give you the feeling right now, can't we?
Yeah, I mean, that's why we put it in.
Do you guys want it bid out, or do you want to go ahead with a 2-year contract?
I would like it, personally, I would like it bid out. Is this gonna, as long as it doesn't delay anything?
No, it does delay, I don't think.
I don't think
Now
it
that
will.
The last time, nobody else bid, but
And right
besides
now,
him, I mean,
the
who knows?
soonest I think we would see any grant money, according to the letter I got from RD, was possibly late in the year, but more than likely it's going to be spring. So, and I mean, Scott's doing the audit, for fiscal year ended June 30th, and that's the last year he's under contract. So we can bid it out anytime now. He's basically performing the duties of his contract.
I mean, he's been doing a good job for us as far as I know, but I
Right.
still, for that amount of money, I'd like to see it bid out.
Anybody else?
Agreed. Yeah.
Agree? Okay.
Then I think we'll do that probably in the next month or so, get that out. So we're not, not behind the 8 ball if we do get the call at the grant money's available.
And then what about the police car? Do we got time to think about that, or,
Well, the police car application is gonna stay in,
okay.
and it's the backhoe that we're gonna have to, do we put the application in now, or do we wanna just wait 6 months?
I'm gonna
We'll
reach
prob-
out to her tomorrow. and
We have to
have a
find out what-
Get us more
conversation.
information on
Yeah.
that? Okay. Okay, anything else?
Nope, that's
All
it.
right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Oja?
Yes.
Mr. Pop?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
I just wish I could have been there when